This is back in 1963, and a knock came on the door. My father answered the door, and he walked back with a rather distraught look on his face to inform my mother that we had to move because they are putting a highway down the middle of our street. We moved out of the neighborhood because we had to, not because we wanted to. One time is enough for anybody to endure. This is my neighborhood. I've been here 47 years, and the city wants to sell this to a private developer and take out 67 homes in the church, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. And they keep the gray cloud of eminent domain over our head, and we have no intentions of going anywhere. My mother, my father, my brother, my son all died while I lived in this house, but we were as close as a family could be. My brother and I in particular, we did everything together. Just to have that taken away to possibly be a parking lot, I don't agree with that at all. But you have to understand, if you're a citizen of Cumberland, this is the beginning point for all this. Ask yourself the question, am I next?
Right now, I'm driving by a couple of local businesses that my friends actually own that I've known in my entire life, and they'll actually be affected by everything that happens in the rolling mill. And this field right here is the nice wide open field where nothing is. It's been empty for as long as I can remember. We could have been well on our way 3 years ago to economic development, but right now it's still for sale. My home was built for my family in 1897 for my great-great aunt as a wedding present. Numerous family members have lived and basically died in here. My mom and dad was in this home until 1997 when they both passed away from cancer. And then my grandmother was still alive, and she basically gave me the home with the thought that I would fix the home back up and make it look like a family home again. And I've done just that. I get that you can take your memories and go someplace else, but I've put so much love and work into this home that I've made it the way that I want, and I don't want to go somewhere else and start all over again. When the houses came down next door, it was really scary. I look out my bedroom window and I see a bulldozer and the house next to me just crumbling into shambles. I had no warning that this was even going to happen. I'd like to invite them to my home and just say, this place is not a bad place. It's been taken care of. It's not falling down. I'm not in your way. But how would you like it if I was just to randomly call you or knock on your door one day and say, I want your home?
When I came out of the military, I came back here, and this is where I came back and met my wife. 30 years later, here we are with 4 children and living here now, being threatened by the city of Cumberland, like, hey, we want to take your memories, we want to take your house, and we want to give you a tax-assessed value for your house. I can sit here on my couch and I can look back through to my kitchen and I can see memories. I can see my kids when they were smaller, they used to climb the door jambs and they're going to the kitchen. When they come here to Cumberland, they don't want to look over here and see an asphalt parking lot or something and not see the house where they grew up. This is my house. We paid for it. It's not yours to tear down just so you can make a buck and put it in your pocket.
This probably doesn't look like an act of civil disobedience to you. In fact, it probably looks like any other Saturday afternoon barbecue. But in Pagedale, Missouri, the simple act of barbecuing a few hot dogs in your front yard with a beer in your hand and a few buddies gathered around is illegal and could send me to jail for up to 3 months.
I'm Justin Wilson with the Institute for Justice. Today, I'm in the town of Pagedale, Missouri to meet up with our team of lawyers who've been working on the ground for the last 6 months. We're here to get to the bottom of why this town is ticketing, fining, and even jailing its residents for ridiculous things and using that revenue to fund the city.
So I'm going to meet up with Vincent and Valerie. They've lived in Pagedale for the last 18 years. They have a modest home, they raise their kids here, and in the last couple of years they've racked up numerous fines. In order to make ends meet, Valerie works nights at a hospital, and Vincent's a veteran.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey Valerie, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good.
Thanks for having me.
When I got this house, I knew it was going to be hard work. But what I saw in this house, the potential that I saw in this house, was what my dream was for a starter house, because everybody have a starter house.
Vincent and Valerie have received over a dozen tickets so far. The issues have ranged from not having the appropriate screen door on their back porch to not having curtains on their windows. They've even received a ticket for having too many people over when they had a small backyard barbecue for someone's birthday.
They're always walking around people's property, not only mine, but friends of mine also. And I've been outside my friend's house, and the guy walked through the driveway and walk all around the building and come back up. And he has his little camera and his little clipboard and taking notes. And evidently, he's just trying to find some chores to chore someone with.
To keep my head above water, I literally had to go out and get me some loans. These are the loans. See, these loans, I get these loans to pay Pagedale. These pay Pagedale because that way I can take my working check and pay the regular bills. This is a part of life now. This is the cycle. This is my life now.
And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, Vincent and Valerie have even been handcuffed and arrested for reasons related to their tickets. In Pagedale, you can get fined for having a basketball hoop in your front yard, a satellite dish on the front of your roof, or parking a bike in front of your house. It's illegal to not have a screen on every door and window, or hedges over 3 feet high. You can also be fined for having a barbecue in your front yard, unless it's a national holiday. And if you're manning the grill, you better not have a beer in your hand, because that's illegal too.
You can even get fined for walking on the left-hand side of a crosswalk.
My simple life, my simple happy life is now miserable because of Pagedale.
After working on the ground for 5 months examining Pagedale's municipal court system, it became clear that the city was violating its residents' constitutional rights. That's why the Institute for Justice filed a federal class action lawsuit to end the city's habit of using its code enforcement powers to feed an ever-hungry city bureaucracy.
This case demonstrates that property rights are civil rights. The city of Pagedale is ticketing people for harmless things and activities within their very own home. If the city can reach into a person's home and tell them what their drapes have to look like, then they're not really free.
Charlestown, Indiana, a small town of 8,000. Mayor Bob Hall wants an upscale subdivision, but to get it, he has to bulldoze the modest Pleasant Ridge neighborhood and force out the residents who rightfully own their land.
Hundreds of homes in a 70-year-old southern Indiana neighborhood may soon be demolished. That's the goal of Charlestown's mayor. He and city council members have pushed through resolutions aimed at redeveloping the Pleasant Ridge neighborhood. But the plan may have serious consequences for some of those homeowners.
First, they'll have to acquire all 340 homes.
You're going to have to get all the homes at some point. Now, how do you go about doing that is really the question.
At this point, I believe the mayor just does not want anyone from Pleasant Ridge here in the city of Charlestown anymore.
We're hardworking people up here. We come to the aid of each other. We love our neighborhood.
It's wrong to do poor people that worked all their life for their place and then have to come along and try to take it away from them.
We live in America, and what he's doing is very un-American.
There are 354 properties in Pleasant Ridge, which dates back to World War II. About 75% are rentals. The remainder are owner-occupied homes, and many owners are elderly or disabled and on a fixed income. Some of the rundown properties are beyond repair, but there are dozens of beautiful homes with wonderful owners. The mayor should build around them, but he says it's all or nothing.
We understand that some of the houses up here do need some rehabilitation.
But I feel like that there can be nice homes and people could live right side by side with us and just keep on going, but they don't feel that way.
I had no idea that him and his hand-picked council people could make resolutions to take private property. I thought when your house is paid for, you got it made.
So here we are in Norton Commons, a beautiful subdivision, and this is what the mayor of Charlestown and the developer want to recreate in Pleasant Ridge. As you can see behind me, the homes are beautiful, but they're not a realistic option for the folks who live in Pleasant Ridge. And so when the developer and the mayor say they want to recreate this in Pleasant Ridge, what they mean is they want to replace the people of Pleasant Ridge with the kind of people who can afford to live here in Norton Commons. Okay, let me show you something. And so here we are in Pleasant Ridge, in front of the home of Ronald Dobson, the kind of home that the mayor and the city of Charlestown want to bulldoze. Now sure, it isn't as fancy and it isn't as big as some of the other homes we've seen elsewhere, but it's a good home. It's good for Ronald and his wife. And the mayor can't make it illegal to have an ordinary, modest home.
We got no money to go other places to buy another place, and we never find no better place than what we got here.
I don't know where the elderly folks will go. And I don't think any of them know either. It's a situation where there's nowhere for them to go here.
I'm retired and she's still working. There is no way that we can afford a house payment.
Our only option would be to have to move all the way to Florida and live with my brother for a while.
Here's how the city's scheme for getting rid of the low-income homeowners works. Phase 1, give them crippling fines to make them sell to the developer. Think $50 per day for a 6-inch tear in a screen door. Phase 2, if an owner refuses to sell, the city will likely use eminent domain to force the sale anyway. Phase 1 is already underway, and the mayor has specifically refused to take eminent domain off the table.
I am willing to go all the way to the Supreme Court if that's what it takes.
Well, me and my wife, we feel like we're going to fight until the end.
We will be on this hill when this battle's over. We're going to be standing in this yard.
We will not back down. We will continue to fight. We will be here for the rest of our lives. We have no intentions of leaving our homes.